In today's instalment, I'm going to take you through the third studio album from the British rock and roll band the Rolling Stones, entitled Out of Our Heads. In the UK, this followed their self-titled debut album and its successor, the Rolling Stones No. 2. In America, Out of Our Heads was the group's fourth LP release on London Records, following England's newest hitmakers, 12 by 5 and the Rolling Stones Now. Out of Our Heads was released a couple of months before the British Decca release in the US, and as with all American Rolling Stones studio LPs up until their Satanic Majesty's request, this album featured a different track listing to the UK version. I'll cover the American release in a separate video. There was also a rare British export copy from Decca Records with yet another change in track listing and a different choice of cover shot, which I will cover on another occasion. The UK standard LP was released on the 24th of September 1965 and was available in mono and stereo, being the first British Stones LP offered in stereo. Today I'll be describing the mono release. This was also the first Rolling Stones LP to be recorded entirely in America, with sessions taking place at RCA Studios in Hollywood and Chess Studios in Chicago in late 1964, while the band undertook their second North American tour, and also in May 1965 as part of their third US tour. A final session occurred in September 1965, which was a flying visit in between their Irish and European tours that autumn. They had a packed itinerary at this particular time in their career. The album followed their latest number one UK singles, The Last Time, in April 1965, and the transatlantic number one, Satisfaction, that summer. Like their first two LPs, this was produced by Andrew Oldham, who also wrote the rather left-field beat-style sleeve notes, which were becoming something of a tradition, in which he references current events and notable personalities. He name-checks Elvis Presley, alludes to Bob Dylan and John F. Kennedy, and he mentions the respected music journalist Ray Coleman, the Vietnam War, and protests and riots in downtown Los Angeles. The songs are a familiar blend of soul and rhythm and blues covers from the likes of Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Solomon Burke, and Chuck Berry. It also includes 3 original compositions by Jagger and Richards and 1 group collaboration under the name Nanker Felge. The personnel on the recording is Mick Jagger, lead vocals and backing vocals and harmonica, Keith Richards, guitars and vocals, Brian Jones, guitars, harmonica and vocals, Bill Wyman, bass guitar and vocals, and Charlie Watts, drums and percussion. In addition, there are keyboard performances by Jack Nitzsche, the music producer, and the semi-regular uncredited Rolling Stone Ian Stewart. It is also reported that the Beatle Ringo Starr played on this album, although his credit did not appear, likely for contractual reasons. The record was engineered by Ron Marlowe in Chicago and technician Dave Hassinger at RCA Hollywood. The mono pressing has the catalogue number LK4733 and appears on the record company's red label with a large Decca logo in silver print. Copies pressed from 1965 to 1967 have the pressing ring or a pronounced ridge on the label around 15mm from the outer edge. Copies pressed during 1968 to 9 do not have this ridge but retain the large open Decca logo. Copies pressed from 1970 are again on a smooth label without the ridge and feature the smaller Decca logo set within a rectangular box. The 12 o'clock position has the text Made in England, and the rim text is an all rights reserved notice. I have noted 2 type variations with this label, and there may be more. On the left in this photo, the track listing is clearly spaced, whereas the label on the right has a more cramped, fussy layout with the song title spread over several lines and with an added dash or hyphen following the band number. On this example, the recording date 1965 is printed larger and shifted left, and the side 2 indicator is shifted right with the British KT purchase tax code repositioned above it. The inner sleeve is a die-cut paper liner printed with handling and playing instructions in grey ink, and it comes with a polythene liner. The album cover is a front laminated non-flipback design. There are reportedly flipback types, but I've never seen one of these, so they may not exist. The sleeve is printed in England by Robert Stace. A typographic error is found on the copyright date as shown here, where the first number of the year, number 1, is missing from the year of release. This error seems to appear on sleeves produced well into the 70s. It also exists on European pressings as well, so they were obviously set from the British album design. The dark and brooding cover image was taken by the 19-year-old photographer Gerard Mankowitz, as David Bailey, who had shot the band's previous album sleeve, was unavailable. This was Mankowitz's first assignment with the band, and the shoot took place at Ormond Yard, just next to his studio in London. Over the next 3 years, Mankowitz would be the band's official photographer, accompanying them across the globe, taking photos, iconic photos, which would be used for their record sleeves, concert tour programme covers and general band promotion. Mono copies in mint condition are currently valued at £120 in the Rare Record Price Guide. That's for copies on the unboxed Decca label. The later boxed logo copies are currently worth around 2/3 the price, say about £80. And that concludes my rundown of the original mono pressing of the Rolling Stones LP Out of Our Heads. That's your lot for this episode from the Rare Record Room. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did like the video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more and to receive notifications for any new uploads. Thanks for watching. See you next time.